promotion. Big horse, but light on his feet. And he's always showed up and been consistent and been right there with some of the top horses in training. In the Bluegrass Stakes, he showed his determination and his raw ability.
It's over! Zandon wins the Toyota Bluegrass!
I feel breeders will be really blown away by what a striking, outstanding looking horse he is.
Register now for the 2024 Past the Wire Kentucky Derby Seminar. In-depth analysis of every horse, contenders, pretenders, live long shots, and more. The Kentucky Derby Seminar on PastTheWire.com. Reserve your seat today. Remember, nobody does it better.
Thank you for visiting Past the Wire TV, the YouTube channel of PastTheWire.com. Ciao, everybody. Welcome to Past the Wire TV. This is going to be a little bit of a different type of video. When I first started, Past the Wire TV, a couple of years back now, I don't even remember when, but a couple of years back, I really didn't do a lot of handicapping and shows like that. It was a lot of old stories, Racetrack Tails, I used to call them, still call them. And some of them were really cool stories. The channel was in its infancy back then. And did a bunch with my good friend, Ray DiStefano. We got another one that we're going to do. Ray is actually the guy that held Ruffian. He cradled Ruffian when they euthanized her after that horrible tragedy in that match race. It's in the book and story that I wrote about it, and Ray was a big part of that. And he's got some great racetrack stories. I got a lot of great racetrack stories. Some of them I can't tell for various reasons, but some of them I can, and some of them I can kind of edit a little bit and tell. And I'm going to start doing that again because people seem to like it. And a couple of people asked me when I mentioned the OJ Simpson story in the wake of his passing, people would say, a couple of people requested that I tell the story. So that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be the OJ at Calder racetrack story. It's not really one of my favorites, and I don't even think it's a good story. It's just, it happened, so we'll share it. The Pete Rose story, which I do believe I've told on some of our other videos, just because it came up, is a much better story. When Pete Rose got mad at me at the track one day, but I think he was dead wrong. But that's something for another day. This is the OJ story. So I'll tell you the OJ story. You like it, you don't. Some of the ones in the future and some of the old ones, if you go back, I promise you will like, because they're pretty cool stories. This one just kind of is what it is, so to speak. But back at this time, this was, I don't know, a year or two maybe after the verdict. It was very, very close to that time frame. And OJ used to show up at the racetrack every once in a while with a guy that I knew for a long time named Charlie. Charlie is a partner or manager at Solid Gold in Miami, the strip club, has been for a long time. And, my dad used to really, really like Charlie, because Charlie used to show up with a lot of the strippers from the club. And my dad at the time used to come to the racetrack with me, and he was, in his late 70s, early 80s. And, the strippers would all, joke with him and flirt with him and have fun with him. And he kind of loved that, gave him a little bit of a, second life. And he was all over that. And, he got to know a few of them. So whenever Charlie would walk in with the girls from Solid Gold, my dad would always say, "Oh, there's Charlie and his angels." Reference to the old show, Charlie's Angels. Some of you are probably too young to even know what that is, but doesn't matter. Uh, Now, also back at this time, that's when ADW wagering and stuff like that was really in its early stages. It was out there, but it was in its early stages. But most people were betting at the racetrack and at Calder. Okay, I was going to the racetrack every day and pretty much playing for a living back then. And my personality back then was very different than it is now, and than it is on social media. I was all business back then. I wasn't at the racetrack to socialize. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't ask anybody who they liked. I didn't want anybody asking me who I liked. Uh, a lot of people thought that I was standoffish, so to speak. But that's just how I was. You see, it was different for me. I wasn't there just for the action. I wasn't there just to have some fun. I wasn't there just to play around. I was there to make a living, not just grind out a small ROI. I was there. I mean, how I lived was directly dependent upon how successful or unsuccessful I was playing the horses. So, I used to go every day, and would almost never, and I mean never miss a day at the races. So that said, I had my regular table at Gulfstream. I believe it was table 112, right on the glass in 10 palms. Sat there all the time, every day. And back then, it was different than it is today. It was, if I didn't show up, they wouldn't even give that table away because that was my table. And I might show up, and at Calder, it was the same way. I had a table on the what was it, the third or fourth floor restaurant, not the Turf Club, the restaurant that guy named Laurie used to run. He went to Vegas, and after he went to Vegas, this nice lady Cookie used to run it. And she was the maitre d', and she was the one who was there when this incident happened with OJ. Now my table was up on the top level. Joe Graffio, guy that owned 2 Item Limit, owns a bunch of other horses, used to sit up there all the time back then. I knew him. I still know him today. He's a successful owner and bloodstock agent, still involved in the game. And a couple of other people you used to sit up there, pretty regularly. Different people than at Gulfstream, but some regulars. Now, my table was up on the top level, all the way on the end, the last table towards the turn, which I didn't care about because she was so high up there, the horses looked like ants. And, the table had a TV on it, and it was a table for 6. But most of the time, prior to my mom passing, it was me, my mom, my dad, my brother John, and once in a while, my dad would invite a childhood friend of his that he named Alex, who retired in Florida and used to love to come to the racetrack, and sometimes he would come sit with us. Nobody else did I want at the table, okay? Nobody else I let sit at the table. Now, my dad was the opposite. He was very friendly, and it took me a long time to convince him that, Dad, when you invite people to sit at the table, it distracts me. I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be unfriendly, but I'm here, trying to make a living. I'm not playing around, and you're inviting people that want to talk and chatter and ask me who I like, and people are annoying with that nonsense and that BS. Somebody will ask you who you like. Well, I'm not really betting this race. Well, if you were, who would you like? Come on, man. Don't. I got no time for that back then. Much more tolerant today because it passed the wire and because I'm no longer playing for a living. So, now I play to make scores. It's different. But back then, that's how it was. So, one day, a year or two after the verdict, and I'm terrible with timelines at this point. Used to be good. I'm good with remembering specific races and what happened in them, but timelines, not my forte. So I do know it was either Belmont Day or Kentucky Derby Day. It was a crowded day, and even those days at Calder would get very crowded back then. Okay, was no tables to be had. All right. I was there that particular day. It was just me and my dad. Nobody else was there. So we had a table for six, but there was only two of us, and we were sitting at the first two seats with the little TV right over here. And there was, two empty seats next to my dad, two empty seats next to me at the long table. All right. Place is packed, standing room only in the restaurant. So who comes walking in? Charlie, OJ, and OJ's got some young, attractive girl with him, which I happened to notice the three of them walk in, and I just found it odd that, after what had happened, some young, attractive girl would be hanging out with the guy. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have my daughter if I had one, or sister, or a friend of mine in that position, but to each their own. Uh, so Charlie, as it turns out, is one of the guys that later on would wind up in the hotel room in Vegas with OJ, was arrested in that whole fiasco with him, and wound up testifying against him. And he walked. OJ went to jail. OJ got out of jail, died, blah, blah, blah. That's that story. But that's besides the point. So at this particular time, I was friendly with Charlie, and that whole thing in Vegas hadn't happened yet, and he was comfortable to come over to me. So I see all of this through my peripheral vision and just from watching what's going on. Obviously, I wasn't betting at this particular time. I've always been a spot better and always picked my spots. So I'm always just aware of what's happening around me anyway. I notice things that other people don't when I'm in a room. Just how I am. So OJ comes in, and I could see Charlie and him talking to Cookie, trying to get a table, and her kind of can't help you. There was just nothing she could do. There were no tables. So Charlie's looking around. They're disappointed. OJ, I could tell, was a little tipsy, which was not a rarity when he showed up. And they had nowhere to sit. So Charlie spots my table with the empty seats. And you can tell they were empty because, there were place settings where me and my dad are sitting. There's bottles of water where me and my dad are sitting. And I used to just tell the guy, if nobody else was coming, I would tell the waiter or the busboy, just clear off the rest of the table because I wanted my form out, my sheets, everything, whatnot. I would even do that in my spot because I never went to the racetrack for the food anywhere, any racetrack, anytime. I'm not there to eat. I'm there to bet. So clear off the table, Saratoga, when I used to sit at the porch on the first floor in the clubhouse, clear off that little table. There ain't no hardly room for my racing form, let alone anything else. And I don't want that food anyway. So we're sitting there. Charlie spots the table, sees an opportunity. Can't blame the guy, right? Knows me, knows my dad. Comes over. Hey, John, great to see you. Give him a little kiss hello. Give him a kiss hello. And he asked me, he says, do you mind? There's no seats. It looks like the table's empty. If nobody's here, can we sit? And I looked at him and I said, Charlie, can you sit? No, get the fuck out of here with OJ. You can't sit with me. I ain't sitting with that guy. I don't want him at my table. First off, I don't let nobody sit at my table. I might let you if you were alone. But with this creep, no shot. Get him out of here. Get lost. Get him out of here, and you get out of here with him. Not happening. You are not welcome here today. Not with him. And you should know better than to even ask me. He heard OJ. All right. I was not quiet. I was not loud, but I was not quiet. But my natural tone is a little bit loud. So he heard. I could tell he heard. He just looked. He didn't say anything. Didn't get nasty. Kind of made a pissed off face. And Charlie, to his credit, just said, I understand. Walked away. Put his arm around OJ, whispered something to him, and they left. And I was like, get out of here. So my dad just looked at me, and he was like, I'm proud of you. I'm like, for what? He goes, for doing what you did. I'm like, what did I do? I said, I wouldn't have sit with that creep. I said, first off, besides the fact that it was OJ Simpson. I don't want anybody sitting here anyway. But if anybody is going to sit here, it certainly is not going to be that creep. Not happening. No way, no how. So that was my little brief encounter with OJ when I literally, is what it is, chased him from my table. Not welcome. No thank you. Goodbye. Just another racetrack tale. There'll be plenty more good ones coming up. I'll go back to telling them every once in a while. Yes, we'll still do everything else that we do on this channel. I hope you liked it. Let me know if you think I was right, if you think I was wrong, if you think it doesn't matter, whatever. I welcome all your comments. I appreciate everybody watching. Thank you very much, and ciao for now.
They're off in the 2023 First Crop Sires Race. Maximum Mischief makes the lead with the most 2-year-old maiden special winners by any sire. On the backstretch, Mitoli and Omaha Beach close the gap with stakes performers from coast to coast. Vino Rosso finds his best and leads on the turn with 4 Grade 1 colts on dirt. But it's Mitoli with his 3rd TDN Rising Star, your champion freshman, leading an impressive Spendthrift Superfecta.
With new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Go to drf.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Mini, a top 10 first crop sire in 2023, standing at McMahon of Saratoga. 14 first crop winners, including My Shady Lady, winner of the $500,000 New York Stallion Series 5th Avenue Stakes, Grade 2 winner Winstock, and Stakes winner Solo Shot. Solo Mini, the 7th leading freshman sire and the only top 10 freshman sire with a Grade 1 or Grade 2 winner. He sired a $700,000 2-year-old at the OBS April sale. His juveniles sold for nearly 6 figures on average, more than 12 times the stud fee. Solomini, a controversial DQ from being a Grade 1 winner by 2-time Horse of the Year Curlin, standing at McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds. Sure Bet Coffee. Put the giddy up in your cup. Tracking trips with Pick 6 King John Stettin. It's one of the best tools in horse racing for any level of player. It's your second set of eyes, spotting troubled trips, betting angles, track trends, horses to watch and favorites to fade, 10 figs, ticket structure, and more. At Tracking Trips, you're a friend with benefits. Not a member? You must hate winning money. Join Tracking Trips now. Visit pastthewire.com and we'll see you in the winner's circle. Remember, nobody does it better.
does it better.